didn't know where I was gonna film it. This is shoulder healing exercises part 1. Get straight to business. Go down. Whatever it is you got. You're gonna bend your legs. You're gonna put your feet aligned with your butt cheeks. You're gonna go this. Also put a towel under your neck. So comfort. And you're gonna, looking at your hand, curl your fingers, leading with the fingertips up and across to the elbow at first. And you're gonna lead back with the back of your hand, following it with your eyes, and you're gonna go down. And you're gonna do it with the other hand, looking at the fingertips, leading with the fingertips to the elbow. The key is you don't move your legs. You keep the legs leading with the back of the hand and keeping the hand on the ground flat. And leading with the fingertips. And now the second time, you're going to go a little further than the elbow. And you're going to go back. Leading with the back of the hand. Now you're going to go again. A little further than the elbow. And you're going to do about 5 to 6 of these. And you're going to work your way up. All the way till you're touching your wrist. If you can touch your wrist. You don't have to. Some days you might be able to, and some days you might not. So you're going to slowly go from the elbow, working up, in with the fingertips, keeping the hand on the ground flat, working your way to reaching to the wrist on the ground. That's about 3 or so. Try to keep your legs, and your back on the ground as best you can. Maintain this sort of starting position, but if you curve a little bit, it might be necessary to touch your wrist, but the key is keeping this hand flat on the ground. Leading, following it with your eyes. Now, I'm doing this for myself, honestly, right now, and it's a great exercise. Not only if you're trying to heal your whatever, maybe your shoulders, it's also good for the chest. Some of them, I don't know. It's a good proactive exercise for keeping things, joints healthy. I do this for my shoulders. Feel myself doing that, and I'll do it for my shoulders proactively. I try to do it once a week now. When I was healing myself, I did it every day I could. And that's the first one. The next exercise, like this. Feel it? Like that. Do about 5 or 6 of these. Right now I'm over at Seaside. It's not a very particular name. I feel it when I keep my hand, like thumbs up a certain way, but you could experiment with the way you position your hands anyhow. I'm over at Seaside, where they had the Sanitorium, built in the 20s or something. people with tuberculosis and, kids, mental patients. I heard that they were locking kids up in cages here and that the place is haunted and people died on the property and they're tearing these buildings down soon. I see there are lights on inside them, which I didn't expect. And can't go on, but people do. And as it becomes closer to the nighttime, I feel like in the day I was like, oh, this place isn't creepy at all. But now I don't know, there's a certain something settling in. Something haunting. Here at Seaside for the next exercise. Now I'm not sure the angle is right. I might have to film this again. Up on one leg. I like to use a fist. Takes the pressure off the wrist. If you got anything going on with the wrist, other leg, up in the air. Up. Reaching, keeping your arm reaching as high as you can, up as high as you can, reaching around back. Now, forward, keeping the arm and shoulder as high as you can. Range of motion exercise is good. Where I saw this, the guy recommended 20 reps, but I think it's a hard exercise. And I just do about 5 on each, Maybe if you had something, you could always do more reps. There we go, keeping the hand and the arm raised as high as you can as you're doing it. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It helps. Keeps things healthy. Heals things. It's important. Now we're going to switch legs. Other arm up, leg up. And do the right side. Keeping the arm as high as you can. That's good. Keeping it as high as you can. We do about 5. On the first one, I feel like, whatever kinks I've acquired over the years, mostly from the climbing gym. So I won't go for that reason. That's why I want to climb outside. But I never had a problem. Hurt my shoulders bad. Climbing outside is very natural. Only in the gym. And even Adam Andre actually said, the modern gym climbing very bad for his shoulder joints, health. So, I feel the first, when I go around, I feel the stiffness, you could call it. And then after that, so it's good to do these. And next exercise coming up. Yeah, I'm probably not at the best angle right now, but look at that view. I'm talking about me. Next exercise, face down. I'm going to disturb the sand a little bit. Hands flat. This, and we're gonna you're flat on the ground, moving the hand up, arm up into your back, making the movement from the shoulder blade itself, not with the arm. Hand to shoulder blade connection, moving from the shoulder blade. So here we go. Well, that's good on the sand. That works well. I've never done this here. That's good. Now again, moving from the shoulder blade. Now you're gonna go back. Now you can really see what I'm doing. Alright, there we go. What a place to film this. Now we're going back, moving up into the back from the shoulder blade, moving with the shoulder blade, making the movement from the shoulder blade, leaving a bit of track in the sand. I'll give you a moment of silence. Appreciate this. How quiet it is here. That's why I came here to do it here. I'm going to do about 5 or 6 of these, at least to start, but that's what I do always, no more. As you're doing this, you're sort of pressing the ground too, like dragging your hand on the ground when you're pulling it in and pushing it out. So the key is from the shoulder blade. Keeping your arms straight. Alright. That's the first sort of circuit of 4. So the next 2 are next to a key. These next 2 are key exercises, the most key and important. But there are other videos where I learned this that are better, but not as scenic. Not as scenic. So again, sort of legs bent. Fix that. After this, I'm going back over to the boardwalk. All the people gonna be hanging out, good people, and I'm gonna go walk among them, and meet people and see my friend over there. And here, no one's probably here because you can't see the sunset. Is probably what it is, but makes it good. Yeah. So, thumbs turned out a little bit, like that. Back flat, not arched, flat as you're doing it. Chin tucked in. So back flat, chin tucked in, legs bent, thumbs out. You're gonna go back, 45-degree angle. You're gonna move your shoulders up, and then you're gonna pull them down, feeling the sort of back, might be called scapula, pull down. And that's what you want, and you're keeping your back flat and your chin tucked, pulling down with the back, and you're gonna raise it up, not locked. You don't want to be able to move. Pull it down, and you're just gonna sort of get the feel of, like the video I learned this thing said, feel of it. The key is pulling those back muscles and shoulders down while you do this. You're going to do 10. As someone said, who I learned the rings from. That should be good. Feel my shoulders pop when I really hit it the way I want. Probably just because of the kinks I get in my shoulders from rock climbing at the gym, classic climbing at the gym. That stuff you can't trust. Yeah. So, and all the shoulder injuries I've had. Sometimes they take 5 months, even like 1 point. But nothing ever held me back. Nothing ever stopped me. Nothing ever didn't heal and go away. The only thing is, well, you get like little pops and whatnot. Like, maybe be a little more prone. Injury or something, I don't know. But nothing ever stopped. Oh, what I wanted to say was, though I never had a terrible shoulder injury, I had moderate. Very painful. Very painful. Pretty tough to deal with. Things that took months, 5, half a year, longer than things like that. Never broke my shoulder. But all this stuff is good, no matter what you're doing. I dislocated my shoulder. My back, so I got to stay on top of this. I'm doing more than 10, just like I want to get it right, At least 10. That's good. Yeah, after I do these, even if my shoulders are feeling fine, they feel looser, they feel better after, it's good proactively. Here's the next key one. Again, refilling it, but that's all right. Not up, it turned out. Then you're gonna draw. Turned out. Just like flat like that. Drop the shoulder blades, so arm straight, chin tucked, So the shoulder blades squeeze together. And then look, so they spread apart. Lift the shoulder blades so they spread apart. Get the feel of them spreading apart with the chin tuck. And then as you're going to keep them spread apart, sort of pushing upward from the palm. And you're going to again pull those back muscles in the center down as you lower and as you raise. But you're going to keep it also pushed out. So it's kind of hard to do. You're going to do the best you can. And you know you'll hit it. You'll hit it right. You just keep going. So yeah. Squeeze together. Spread apart. Pushing upwards, spreading apart. Sort of pull the center ones down. And then while trying to maintain this spread apart push. And yeah, you might feel it in your shoulders. That's good. I'm gonna do 10. Funny, while I was doing this on the beach, where the boardwalk is, everybody's asking me if I'm okay or drunk. So, I'm here. Here's a good place to do this. That chip horn was the only noise for a while. Now it's grown on me. It's a seaside noise. Probably can't see, but there's a lighthouse in the distance. I don't even know if I noticed that the last time I was here. It's a good spot. Yeah. I find these exercises relaxing time, just like driving out here to just explore your thoughts. Maybe turn on an audiobook. You can do that. I've been listening to the Wheel of Time on and on. Not for a couple months, maybe. I've just been, a lot to think about, I guess. Make it hard to focus on the audiobook. But fantasy, that's my thing. So, I'm on book 4 right now. No spoilers, please. Book 4, they say, is the best, so I'm savoring it. I'm taking my time with it. And I'm like, there's moments listening to the audiobook. This is fantasy. This is epic. This is high fantasy. This is great. It's been fun. Tide's coming up. But, it was sort of creeping up quick. But since I started filming, it sort of stayed where it was. I might get the whole circuit of things done. There's one I need to do on a wall. Can't really do it. Another laying down. Yeah, these are, they're them. I like doing them. Sometimes I don't want to do it. But when I'm in a place like this, I feel almost didn't want to do them today. I was like, oh, there's people. I want to go mingle. But no, so when I showed up here and I was eating my third meal, fourth meal, whatever. It's been a long day. It was really quiet. I've never seen a beach. I thought, I knew it was going to be this good. I didn't think it would be this good. And, I like the beach with all the people and stuff. Both, you need both. But to come here, this is what I want for here. And it was so quiet as I was eating my food. It was just no voices. Just the sound of the waves and the seabirds. And I was like, wow, this is peaceful with this beautiful view. And I was like, wow, this is peaceful, It occurred to me that while I'm doing this, I'm going to film it too. There's another thing I didn't film. This is good and maybe even better than all these. But you gotta do proactively. For your joints. Keep your joints healthy. Yeah, I'm enjoying these. Enjoying this place. The guy in the video I learned this from said, just like right where your back starts, lower back starts to arc, is the point where you start bringing it down enough when you go. Yeah, like right there, like this third curving. Now like draw those center back muscles along the spine down as you're maintaining that push it and out, yeah. So, time for a little bit more. We're 2 out of 4 of the circuits of exercise. A couple of them are just 2 exercises, and then the others are like 3 or 4. So, if you move through them, they actually can go by quick. But if you don't, they could take hours. And, if you're really focused, But still, it does take time. And let's get right to the next one. So I'm still here at the very creepy Sanitorium beach. And now, as you see the Sanitorium in the sort of dusk, and as it's getting darker, it's definitely, there's a vibe coming out, like a haunted feeling, but it's cool. And the ship across the water with that horn, it's setting a mood. Okay, so this next exercise here, trying to position just a little better. There we go. See both hands, you know. Okay. Okay. That's what's gonna be done. That's what's gonna be done. So I learned this. What will the other way? You need a 2-pound dumbbell, 1 pound to 3 pound dumbbell, and the 2 are great. Have these on, and you know, you might use a water bottle or something, but go flat. And you know, at the rehab person, they told me, you know, head on a pillow like that, but I don't think that's too important. But, you're gonna basically do this with the 2-pound weight and squeeze the shoulder blades together for 12 reps, 3 sets. And I like to do a hold at the end, a little maybe 10-second hold or less. And then I'm gonna do those sets. The little sand fleas or whatever are definitely coming out. And you know, when I wear white, I see how dark I really am. I'm like, wow, I didn't know I was that dark. Anyhow, oh, I'll do the next one. So the next one is, you know, 90-degree angle. Same thing, at a 90-degree angle forward. Does work well facing that. 12 sets. Or 12 reps. Yeah. I was gonna film this for like 2-3 years, maybe longer. But yeah, I finally found a place to do it. Alright, the last exercise to do today, at least, is another one that could be key for some people. That's what the video I saw about the key ones said. So on your side, you know, I learned at the chiropractor after I got rear-ended. On your side with knees sort of bent back straight, knees together is the way. So, you know, you should have a pillow right there. So you can go like that, keeping your elbow there. I like to do 40 to 50, so I feel it sort of pumping out what it works. And then I do another set of 12 slow pretty soon after that. And the slow 12, after it's already pumped out, you feel it. And it's not so easy doing the 12, but at the thing, the rehab place, back like almost 2 years ago now, I don't know, maybe it was a year and a half. Well, thing with the bike that wasn't that bad, but I had a little bit of a shoulder injury. So they taught me this there, and they said 12 reps, 2 sets. So that should be good. And yeah, doing it. Feel that. So that's the video. The shoulder rehab and healing and proactive, health exercises for joints, shoulder joints specifically. And if you like, please do subscribe. And thank you for watching. A little bit of the view. The lights over the water, real cool. And I'm just gonna say that there might not be a lot of these types of videos, because once I film this, maybe once more from a better angle, it's done. And what I'm doing on the channel is just pretty much like recording training and just adventures and climbs, scenery, lifestyle stuff that's to me worth filming. But those are the Sanitorium buildings. You can see the ship on the top. Very scary at night, but very beautiful. Those lights over the water. Alright. Big boy moving over the water. But I'm going to the place with a lot more lights than this. You could swim through at night. Everybody's gonna be hanging. It's gonna be good. I just realized what that is the foghorn. I just realized. Yep, that's it. We're passing one of the sanatorium buildings that looks like a dormitory with those broken window, beautiful like outlets up top. You can see better off camera. The ship light's very pretty. I heard about how sanatoriums were placed by the sea with the tuberculosis. They thought the air was better, and for people who were patients and all that. But I might have heard about this place. My friend was saying the developer bought it and it's gonna get torn down. Maybe that's why it's all boarded up now. I don't know how you'd get in there. That's what happened to the Divine Lorraine building in Philadelphia with the black gaping holes in those grand window, arcs. Beautiful abandoned building. And then, it got refurbished and used again. But I remember when I saw those black, tunnel-like window arcs, the Divine Lorraine, I was like, what is this doing here like this beautiful building? Sure enough, it got bought out, but once it did, it got all boarded up. But yeah, it was like that for 3 years I was there. And it would, who knows how long it was like that, maybe 20 years. So it's interesting how that happened right then. But that building right there, my friend said someone he knew was working there and quit because they were locking kids up in cages, and only like 10, 15 years ago was that it was shut down and everything. And but now it's haunted, as I mentioned, and a lot of people died there. There's spirits, there's ghosts, and my friend was saying, and this is what they say, that in the day, yes, but when at night, that's when things start coming out. The nocturnal animals, that's when the spirits come out and all that. So I was just walking past that, and as it was getting dark there on the beach, there was definitely a bit of an eerie vibe. Something maybe a little ominous, I don't know. But yeah, I wouldn't really want to go in there, but you know, might be dangerous or unhealthy. I don't think it was built in the time of asbestos, but, you know, still, what business have I in there? You know, I'm $90 fine. You know, maybe if I had someone with me, it might be fun. But alone, it's not that, you know, I'm afraid. It's just, you know, it would be something fun to do with someone, you know, just for fun. You know, like, together, yeah. But, so, the last thing I want to say, yeah, was that my friend said it's a shame to tearing the building down because the architect was a genius. And houses nowadays, you abandon them for maybe 20 years, 10 years, the roof will be sagging in. And that place hasn't been touched up or anything since 1920 or whatever it was built in. And the roof is not sagging one bit. Which, you know, when my friend mentioned that, like, you know, it occurred to me. I was like, oh, isn't that something indeed? You know, you don't see abandoned buildings that are that old very often, you know, that are still intact. And, like, that really is something. Like, you know, I could see why people were taking pictures of it, especially with it going to be torn down. But it really, in my opinion, it should be preserved. And because it's really cool. I mean, you know, I think it's really cool. I mean, I know they have the prison in Philadelphia that was turned into a sort of museum. So, you know, they make money off that thing. There was a line out down the block, but, you know, I'm not saying that's what they should do. I just think it's a beautiful set of buildings, and it's a shame that the history, the standing history of them is going to be torn down. And I don't think what they're going to put in is really, like, you know, do we need whatever it is when we have something so incredible, you know, sort of like the pyramids, you know, like ruins, history, structures that stand. Anyhow, that's the end of the shoulder rehab video. What is this? Somebody's busy. What's going on? Hi. The weekend grotto. There we are. The weekend grotto is the homestead. Somebody send it away. Wow. Well, well. What's going on?
so bad. But I got a phone leg. Let's just do the easy part. Fuck. That's not that bad. Now that I know what to do. Now the question is the inside. What about the inside? We're gonna have to bring all my pads, lights, yeah,